Okay, Law and Licensing Committee is chaired by Board Member Ellis. So Chair Ellis, are you? I don't think you're going to do this in two breaths, but. Okay, let me make sure there we go.
Thank you. R277552 is Charter School Timelines and Approval Process. The motion before the board is the committee moves that the board approve R277552 Draft 4 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-552 Draft 4 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Voting was unanimous.
Thank you. The next one is an external data request for URAD, which is the Utah Registry of Autism and Developmental Disabilities Program. The committee moves that the board approve the URAD external data request agreement, but I have an amendment.
Okay, what's that?
So the amendment from the committee was that the board approve it, but I have an amendment, so I don't.
Okay, well, let me read
Yeah.
what came out of the motion before the board is from committee is that they approve the URAD external data request agreement, and the chair has an amendment. So let's
Yes. So
listen
this
to that amendment.
there's
The proposed amendment is.
the proposed amendment is to hold it for a month to vote on next month, and I can explain why if I can speak to it.
Okay, to amend the.
It's not an amendment, it's just another motion to postpone.
Yeah, you just make
So
a
it's
motion
just
to
a motion to
postpone.
postpone for a
Yeah, that's
month.
the simplest. And then you can speak to that.
Right.
So we have a motion to postpone from the chair. Second?
Second.
We have a second. Discussion to the motion to postpone.
I don't have the bill number, but this is being discussed up on the Hill. It's actually going to the House Education Committee this afternoon. And I just think instead of having to redraft it, that if we just wait a month to see what right now as it currently sits, it matches our agreement, but it's in the legislative process, so it's subject to
Okay.
amendment. So I just propose we wait a month.
We have a motion to postpone. Discussion. Any further discussion to the motion to postpone? Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. R277726, a statewide online education program. The committee moves that the board approve R277726 Draft 7 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-726, Draft 7, on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion. Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Voting is unanimous.
I'm listening to staff back there saying I skipped 3 things, but that's not.
They're a different order on board decks, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm looking at this.
Sorry.
Thank you. Just making sure before I move on. At least my hearing still works. Okay. R277-700, the Elementary and Secondary School General Core. The committee moves that the board approve R277-700 Draft 2 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-700, Draft 2, on second and final reading. Discussion to that motion. Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Voting was unanimous.
Thank you. Item 12.6, internal data request for external research with student PII. The committee moves that the board approve the internal data request for external research with student PII with the Head Start Association.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve the internal data request for external research with student PII with the Head Start Association. Discussion to that motion? I'll repeat the motion. I probably didn't say it with clarity. The motion before the board is the board approve the internal data request for external research with student PII with the Head Start Association. Let's vote on it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Voting is unanimous.
R277-102. This is going to test my pronunciation skills. Adjudicative proceedings repeal. The committee moves that the board repeal R277-102 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board repeal R277-102 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Voting is unanimous.
R277, recognizing constitutional freedoms in the schools. -105. Sorry, it's 12.8, R277-105. The committee moves that the board repeal R277, which one is it? -105 on second and final reading. I have two numbers. So-
I have R277-10.
We just did 102, it's just a typo, so
105.
it's 105.
Okay, got it. All right. So the motion for the board is the board repeal R277-105 on second and final reading. Any discussion to that motion? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Voting was unanimous.
Okay, item 12.9, R277-304, teacher preparation programs. This is a long one, I got to get to the motion. The committee moves that the board approve R277-304 draft 4 on second and final reading.
Draft 5?
Just wait a minute.
Okay.
We have to make an amendment.
Yeah. So the motion that came from committee for the board is that the board approve R277-304 draft 4 on second and final reading. Chair, do you have an amendment?
I do. We have draft 5 in the board docs. Travis Stallings met with a member of the public that had, Travis Rawlings.
Stallings, Rawlings, tomato.
I mixed two of you. Sorry.
It's late.
Combining.
Okay,
So are you bringing it up? Or
well, it's in board docs. I don't
Okay.
know how to do, I haven't ever done that before, if someone else wants to. Draft 5. Let me find.
I think it's coming up. Is somebody bringing it up? So your amendment,
So
okay.
I am really sorry. I'm trying to open up the email.
Right here.
No, I'm looking for the reason why. So there was some question about what clinical experience means, and so this draft defines what clinical experience means, and then,
That's number 26. Clinical experience means structured opportunity.
yes, so the draft adds some clarification to that. And then also, the draft talks about, instead of it being or a virtual classroom, it just says may include experiences in a virtual classroom.
So your amendment
Is
is to
draft
accept
5.
draft 5.
Yes, the amendment is to accept draft 5.
I don't know if I like that.
Or to replace 4 with 5. So we have an amendment to replace R277-305 with replace draft 4 with draft 5.
Yes.
Okay. Is there discussion to that amendment? Board Member Lisa Cummins?
Okay, I'm not sure that I like the definition. Is it in any way, shape, or form related to any mental health facilitators?
So we have a question for staff that,
Clinical experience, can that be related to or contributed to
This is teacher licensing.
with teacher yeah.
Dep- Deputy Superintendent Stallings, do you,
Because I don't want to have a teacher saying that
So
I
we have
have
a-
clinical experience and that I can, then diagnose, with any mental health bills that come forward. I just want to have clarification what that covers.
Say that again, what line?
Yeah.
So Travis Rawlings, Educator Licensing Coordinator for the State Board. The intention of this language is to encompass the practice of having a person who is a candidate in the program. Remember, this rule is all about programs, of how they engage with actual students, actual schools, and how they practice their field. And so what this is saying is, this is your student teaching, this is your internship, this is your laboratory work, when all of those kind of things are encompassed by the term clinical experience.
So it's not contributed to.
But no, it has nothing to do with health or mental health or anything like that.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Thank you. May I have one more question?
yeah, follow up?
Okay. On lines 33, the Council for line 37, the Council for Exceptional Children. I remember I fought this when it was first adopted, and how much more input do they have with our?
That's not on the amendment, so you have to wait.
That's on the amendment?
No, it's not.
It's not on the
So
amendment.
you'll have to wait and talk to it till after we talk about the amendment.
Okay, I have to wait till after the amendment. I
Sorry.
will hold that question. Thank you.
Not essential elements is
Okay, is there any other discussion? Let me just remind the board where we're at, where the amendment is to, on R277304, the motion was to approve R277-304 Draft 4 on second and final reading. The amendment is to replace Draft 4 with Draft 5, the way that it's presented. I'm not seeing any other discussion to the motion, so the amendment to the motion, and so we're going to vote on the amendment. And the amendment is to replace Draft 4 with Draft R277304 Draft 4 with Draft 5. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, so the motion now is that the board approve R277-304 Draft 5 on second and final. The amended motion is that the board approve R277-304 Draft 5 on second and final reading. Any discussion to that motion? Board Member Lisa Cummins.
Thank you, Chair. On lines 37 through 43, I remember I fought this when it was first introduced to the board about 5 years ago, I would say. Is that correct? The Council for Exceptional Children, how much influence do they have on our standards, and can we change them at any time? I was, at the time, under the impression that we had no say, that it was very stringent, and knowing what the CEC stands for and how it basically overrides state sovereignty concerns me. So what can you tell me?
So I remember those conversations very well. I guess I've been here for too long.
Chair needs to put it on.
Sorry.
Don't
thought
touch
I
it.
had
Got it. I understand. I do remember those discussions that you're describing, and what was there was concern, like you've mentioned, about some of the other aspects of the work that Council for Exceptional Children does. So this is just the part of the definition. If you scroll down to, I don't have the lines off the top of my head, but if we go down to the special education section, it references a specific set of standards that CEC released. So we're not ceding any kind of authority over our standards. We're saying these are the standards that we want to use for the preparation of special ed. Mm-hmm. And if CEC was to change their standards, we would actually we wouldn't use their new standards until we took them back to you. So if you'll notice, there's the line on 250. It's specifically the 2012 standards that they adopted, not an ongoing thing or anything like that.
Right, okay.
Any other discussion to the amended motion? I'll restate the motion. The amended motion before the board is to approve R277-304 Draft 5 on second and final reading. Not seeing any other discussion, let's vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Voting was unanimous.
Thank you. 12.11 is R277115. And the motion before the board is the committee moves that the board approve R277-115, Draft 2 on second and final reading. I have another amendment.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R2, from committee, it's to the board approve R277-115, Draft 2 on second and final reading. The chair, you have a proposed
Yes.
amendment?
Yes, so we have Draft 3. It's a technical change to match the statutory definition of educational good or service. So the definition of third-party provider on lines 20 to 21 needs to be consistent, and then also 18 and 19 as well? Okay, just there. So it was just needed to match the statute.
Okay, so your amendment to the motion
Is to accept Draft 3.
to substitute to replace Draft 2 with Draft 3.
Yes.
Is there a second to the amendment? Second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, let's vote on the amendment. And the amendment, again, is to replace on R277-115 Draft 2 with Draft 3. So we'll vote on that amendment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Voting was unanimous. So now we have before us the motion, the motion before the board is the amended motion to the board is to approve R277-115, Draft 3 on second and final reading. Any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Voting was unanimous.
And that concludes the report for law and licensing.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Lisa, you missed one.
I missed one.
5024. What was that? 12.10.
Wh- Which one? 12 point, you guys are on your blue? Where you at?
I turned my mic off.
Oh,
That's my fault. I wrote amendment in the wrong spot, so I thought I had already done it. Okay, R277502-4 is license levels, procedures, and
What
periods.
number is it that you're on?
12.10. 12.10 is R277-502-4, license levels, procedures, and periods of validity. The committee moves that the board approve R277-502-4, Draft 1 on second and final reading.
okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-502-4, Draft 1 on second and final reading. Is there any discussion to that motion? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Voting is unanimous. Thank you,
That concludes
staff,
the
for
report.
catching that. Okay. Next, we'll have standards and assessment. Board member Gravitt, are you going to handle this one? Yeah, you're the chair, so, okay. All right, I just can't remember who was in your last meeting, and I thought, was you there or not? Okay, all right. Chair Gravitt, you're up. You have you have the light. The light is on.
Don't give him, don't
Is it
give
on
her the
now?
light. Oh, you gave it to me. Hallelujah, I need the light. I
Well-
have a question.
Oh, yes. You have a question before we
Yes.
move?
Yes, I'm so sorry, I've been waving. I have the light now, Jen. Thank you,
Okay,
Chair.
Well, I'm not seeing yours on.
I'm just wondering if somehow, somewhere I missed 12.11 and the discussion on that from your committee.
It was just a technical change.
Okay, but I do have a question on that. That Lear had some amendments here, and I'm just really curious as to why the members Ellis, Cummins, and Earl voted in opposition of some of her changes for this.
Okay, hang on one sec. We're going to go back to,
So I'm sorry, Chair, I'm sorry that I missed that.
no, we're good. You have,
It's the last page.
1211.
And there, Member Lear had a couple of amendments, and I actually really appreciate them, and so I'm just curious as to, Member Davis abstained, and Ellis, Cummins, and Earl, B. Cummins, all voted in opposition, so I'd be curious as to why.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get this to, there we go. Chair Ellis, and then,
I'd have to go back and watch the discussion. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, so I'm really sorry. I can't.
okay, well, maybe, hang
I'd
on.
be
I've
making
got to,
something up.
okay, I'm going to go to Vice Chair Brittany Cummins.
I have a brain.
I don't, it left at 4 o'clock.
Vice Chair Brittany Cummins.
For me, the reason why I didn't support the amendments is just because they were redundant and unnecessary. There was nothing personal to the person who made them, but I know. but the amendments actually didn't, because of where they were and the wording where they were, at least according to my understanding, is they didn't add anything to the rule by requiring what it was stated. So that was why we didn't use them. Other things in the rule satisfied all the things that the maker of the amendments was trying to get at. So all the things that she was
Follow
saying
up?
were there.
May I speak directly to Brittany, because it's her comments, thank you, Chair, is that on the line, I think it's 17 to 19, the B that she has here, shall verify the accuracy and validity of the student's enrollment. Is that already in here somewhere? Okay, that's all I need to know, thank you.
Okay. I'll pay closer attention to what's happening down in that corner.
I'll stand up higher.
Okay. Are we done then with that? So we're